A must-read exposing how good laws can be obscured, and therewith justice and freedom crushed to benefit a select minority. Has the public been robbed of literary creations and the innocent exploited by a copyright system gone overboard and adrift? Copyright law is to be fair and for the public good. The United States Constitution on this reads, Congress shall have power to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries. The Supreme Court put it this way in its 1975 decision. The immediate effect of our copyright law is to secure a fair return for an author's creative labor. But the ultimate aim is, by this incentive, to stimulate artistic creativity for the general public good. Yes, authors and inventors need incentive, and therewith deserve a fair reward, and all this for the public good. And clearly fairness and the public good should be the ultimate benchmark of all law, and therewith all copyright laws must be applied as to attain that purpose. Exposing injustice that needs to halt for the public good. Although original copyright certainly had a good intent, sad to say, unfortunately, copyright now too much rather has become as an unpredictable tyrant oppressing the public. Yes, involving injustices of all sorts, as vividly exposed later, and including the injustice of placing a permanent obstructive lock on our world's literary creations that should not be permanent. The Constitution's limited time for fair reward, discussed later, is quite different than a largely unending reward and unending lockup of creations, as copyright is guilty of now. Regarding copyright hardships, the USA Copyright Office on their official webpage speaks of copyright confrontations as tremendously charged, even innocent copyright offenders. The same webpage also speaks of copyright grievously charging a photocopy business that unknowingly created copies of copyrighted material for a customer. Yes, how could something that started so good, based on fairness on all levels and the public good, become so dreadful? Further and beyond original copyright law flaunting fair reward amounts, copyright law to assure the public good has included a vital fair use exception, which in appropriate situations is to allow the fair use of all copyrighted material without permission and payment at all. However, unfortunately, fairness about that vital exception has also too much lost its vital place. And may fair use exceptions and all the goodness copyright law was intended to provide for the public be fully rekindled as originally intended, and may all changes as may have transpired over the years which transgress the original good standard of copyright be exposed and realized to be illicit and somehow overthrown, and all for the public good. How did limited time turn into the very opposite? And certainly many may ask, as the Constitution distinctly cites a limited time of rights for fair reward, which at the first was 14 years, how that limited time now oddly has become 2 lifetimes. Note, such a drastic change, beyond instigating very excessive rather than fair return, further places a permanent and crushing lock on most all our world's literary creations. Did powerful publishers and authors who desired perpetual and excessive income for their creations lobby for and instigate endless copyrights at the extortion and defrauding rather than good of the public? Note, 20 years is considered as sufficient reward for patents and rights for inventions, which creations often involve much more research and expense than matter as might simply be copyrighted. And further, because of copyright overreach, too many creators fear to even work and publish because what if they unintentionally infringe on another creator and a bitter charge is forced upon them? In some cases, copyright too much has become a legalized tyranny, unjustly enriching not only creators, who might be very cruel, but lawyers as well. Pitiful copyright injustice at the cost of the public good. And yes, another question, does one flick of the camera deserve $1,000 or possibly even $1 million of income, as some copyright owners might seek to generate over the years through exorbitant charges for a special image? And which ridiculous income copyright law gone far overboard may further and endorse through lawsuits against the innocent who were trusting in fair use law? And all this at the cost of crushing honest and good people who might do much good with the image for public welfare in a non-profit effort. Yes, one may wonder how a law created for the public good can be so bitterly twisted to do the very opposite. Yes, it is high time copyright returns to its roots and be rightly adhered to. And yes, copyright overreach, unfortunately, has become as unjust as non-profit motorists driving many miles to seek to help the poor, and while doing so, without warning being fined an exorbitant sum for speeding by policemen with authority to pocket some of the money, and further harshly fined as such, although the good motorist greatly wanted to know the speed limit but could not find it. And yes, such injustice against those seeking to bless the public, stemming from a copyright law intended for the good of the public, is a tyranny that needs arrested and stopped immediately. Fretting about peanuts while swallowing dire injustices. And here, while too many copyright lawyers are wallowing in the mire of past dubious or unjust court decisions or straining at gnats, was the usage a parody and sufficiently transformative for fair use, etc., they unfortunately are accustomed to swallow camels, injustices as exposed above. And yes, although copyright gone overboard is tremendously concerned about how much money authors might lose by fair use permissions, it appears no regard is given to the excessive amount an author may have already attained or will attain through endless copyrights, and regardless of copyright law distinctly advocating fair rather than excessive return. And herewith I might add that just like copyright law over the years has become bitterly confused and abused, so also God's good plan and perfect law of liberty, designed to protect and preserve rather than oppress, through the years has become greatly misunderstood and misapplied, and such likewise greatly defrauding and paining mankind. Yes, many good laws have been miserably turned upside down, and God therewith with many miracles has shown his good ways and warned. For more, see guidingmiracles.com and miracleswarningusa.com. And may God somehow open eyes so many can attain his good promise and blessing for this life and the next. And oh God, raise up lawyers and judges in America and elsewhere who are out to crush evil rather than just glad to play with it because of making money doing so. Note, because of my care for truth and humanity, I have created a great abundance of material over the last 35 years, and with many tears, and without copywriting anything.